Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're going to focus in on the narcissistic and psychopathic devalue cycle of a relationship. So, after the love bombing, after the enmeshment, after the boundaries that you've held around in your life have been annihilated, and you've become enmeshed or entangled, or really sort of feeling lost with this person or lost in this person, we're going to look at now the stage of the discard, where in essence it's either triggered by the narcissist or psychopath either needing to up their supply, especially in psychopathic individuals. They become bored extremely easily. They need to be engaging in a lot of high stimulation activities, a lot of people, a lot of surroundings. You name it. I mean, they generally have a tremendous amount of energy. Narcissists as well, but the psychopathic individuals are extremely prone to boredom. So they are going to, chances are, be entertaining many different supply relationships simultaneously, really juggling the mask, engaging in a lot of different relationships in different settings with different people, which really have no connection between the one and the other. They're very disintegrated in their personalities, so you will see oftentimes this sort of behavior where they are like a chameleon and they adapt from one relationship or one setting to another, and they can be very contradictory. They can be very liberal in one setting, very conservative in another. Be very have certain personality traits or areas of expertise in one setting and very different in another. So it's different than just having a multi-layered personality, which is integrated. You can simultaneously, like sports, and you can simultaneously like the ballet. I mean, I'm not saying like you have a richness of enjoyment and things of this nature. What I'm talking about is when a individual presents a mask, a falseness, not a genuine connection or not a genuine interest or not a genuine enjoyment, but they put on a mask to be around those people. Oftentimes, because they have such a high need for stimulation or status or fulfillment of supply needs, that they will participate in a number of different groups, activities, events, which oftentimes can be extremely disconnected. So they might go to church and, not have a real religious affinity, but yet just go there to create a sort of another supply source, another feigning of being religious, but yet practice nothing nothing along the lines of spirituality or any sort of humane values. So you see this real discord between like how they present themselves and then how they are in reality. And really the people who are closest in their life are the ones who get to know them most intimately, and they get to see this up close and firsthand. So that can be very confusing as well. So I want to look now at the experience in the discard phase, where you're kind of feeling like things are rocky, things are kind of off, things are not going well. We're not hitting it here. You're seeing maybe a little bit more distance. You're feeling like you have to up your people pleasing with this person. You feel like they're they're not always present as the way that they were, so you have to up your connection with them, or your texting with them, your communication, because you're fearful that they're maybe cheating on you or doing other things behind your back, which they probably are, and you're just trying to validate that. You're trying to get some heads up on this so that you're not finding about this later and then feeling heartbroken, devastated, and namely the betrayal. And the betrayal is something I want to focus on that is experienced really in the devaluing and then the discard phase, and then really how to deal with it. Because realize that part of the natural organic cycle of a narcissistic or psychopathic relationship is going to be the love bombing, the devaluing, and then the discarding. And it's going to be, oftentimes and encourage what we call exposure. So let's all get on the same terminology here, people. Okay, so exposure, which basically means you've seen the mask come off, you've seen something totally out of character from this person, you've seen that they are nothing but a shell of a person. You've exposed them. You've seen them behind closed doors. You've seen them when they didn't think you were looking. You've seen them do something which was completely a mind blower, completely shocking to you. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they said this about me behind my back. I can't believe they did this about me behind my back. And you're basically at truth. You're, reality wake up call, slam dunk. You have exposed this person. You thought this person was loyal to you. You thought they were the love of your life, or, your romantic escapade. You thought ABC, but now you have discovered XYZ. So the person who you thought you were loving, engaged with, or the person you thought they were is nothing of the sort. They're completely different than that which you had thought, anticipated, or expected. And so there we come with the feeling of betrayal, of disgust, of self-reproach, of self-remorse, of like, how could I have been so stupid? I want to, take me back to denial, because this is way too painful for me to deal with. And so, you begin to then experience this real sort of feeling of infidelity, but infidelity to yourself. In essence, where you're saying, oh my God, like, I can't believe I've just seen this. And so you enter really into a state of shock. And a state of shock is a physiological condition where you then start to feel almost like you're having an out-of-body experience. You can't believe your eyes. You can't believe what you've just seen. You can't believe what you've just heard. And you're starting to piece it all together. And you're now starting to realize how this person was all the while, and that you had entrusted the most intimate and close-up and personal part of your life. I mean, you gotten completely naked with them, completely emotionally naked, physically naked, psychologically naked, etc. I mean, everything you've, bared everything to this person, and now you've found out that they are not who they thought they were. And then here comes this experience of betrayal. And betrayal is a verb which means to deliver or expose to an enemy by treachery or disloyalty. So you basically feel like you have delivered yourself into the hands of an enemy. Somebody who is, unfaithful and guarding you, protecting you, maintaining that relationship of trust with you, and really fulfilling that. And, you had put your trust in them in confidence, and, really a relationship that you had never hitherto questioned. And it can be a family relationship, such as a mother or a sibling who you felt like, this is family, this is my blood, how could this be? This is very contrary to what would anticipate in reality. So when you have that sort of shock, you're dealing with these feelings of betrayal. And this can be one of the most difficult experiences to work through. And if you are in this stage, or if you've had a lot of narcissistic or psychopathic abuse, you can contact me. I'd be happy to work with you to help you sort out the feelings and get some progress moving forward, and how to come back to a good life, get back to a better life for yourself, where you're not so enmeshed in this crazy making and this sort of insidious abuse, because it can be very difficult to process and come through if you don't have a lot of tools, or really essentially someone who has studied psychology, such as myself. I studied psychology and English in the university, and furthermore into my master's, and I have extensive experience with this population. So I do understand the dynamics at play, and then the feeling of betrayal that can be so crippling, so devastating, and really hard to bounce back from. I mean, it can really create a sense of shock and what they call a post-traumatic stress syndrome, where you really find it difficult to function, to leave your home, to talk to people, to trust yourself again, to trust your senses, because you feel like you have been inhabited by an enemy. And it's very scary, especially when it's like newsflash, your senses had betrayed you, or this person had deceived you. So, when you've revealed this, realize that that's your moment of awakening, and that's your moment of the beginning of your healing journey and your empowerment. So realize that this anger and then the fear and then the shock, this can all be harnessed towards becoming really rooted, grounded, and empowered. So we need to go through the alchemy, the transformation of these negative toxics into the positive, into the lessons, and into the wisdom, and really towards a really sort of self-embodiment of your own values, sort of a really filling up of your own soul, as which had been really siphoned off from you. So your soul becomes enlarged, your personality becomes enlarged, your reservoir for experiencing the greatness in life really becomes expanded when you create this new space to recover within yourself. And you do have to open up that space and do it for yourself. It's not an opening up to others, which it can be, but originally it's an opening up of yourself, of self-dependence, self-reliance, and self-trust, and giving yourself a chance to experience more of a fulfillment of that trust after the betrayal, after the discard, after you have let the enemy in, or the enemy has knocked at your door, realizing that now you're sending the enemy away, fare thee well, go on your merry way, there's no place for you here, and so, I wish you love and light, but you really just have to send them away and let them know that there's no place for that here. And when you say that wholeheartedly and you own this and you know this, that you no longer want this negative disruption in your life. You no longer want the fear. You no longer want the guilt. You no longer want the overwhelm. You no longer want the gaslighting, the feeling of being out of control, of being hypersexualized, of being terrorized, and not being able to eat, sleep, feel like you can live in your own skin again. But that you want to, send them on their way and release them and, let them go. If they're going to continue on in their life, they're going to continue on in their life. If they're going to target another, they're going to target another. That is just the way, that is business as usual for them. That is their lifestyle. That is their destiny. That's what they're fated to. Now your fate is to now rise up and create a larger reservoir of self-confidence and self-trust and true self-belief, which once you heal it, it can never, ever, ever be taken away from you. You can have enemies coming knocking at your door. You can send them away and not flinch. You can have violators and perpetrators try to surround you, or you can basically see them now through clearer eyes. You learn to identify violators and perpetrators, and you now naturally are going to becoming a tuning fork, and you're not going to resonate with them anymore. You're not going to be able to, there's not going to be a vibrational match between you, who is now empowered, and these violators or perpetrators. They're not going to have any place with you. They're not going to be able to mar or tarnish your energy. They're not going to be able to get under your skin. They're not going to be able to manipulate and brainwash you. You own, in essence, your own connected to your higher source energy. You own your higher source energy. You own your connection to something more divine and more powerful and protective. So it really is really a sort of rebooting, a resetting of your identity after this betrayal. So realize that that's the transformation, and that's the alchemy that has to take place, where you turn this very horrible experience around. You unplug from it, you realize you have the awakening, the awareness of what it is. You now acknowledge it, you now let them go. And, whatever origin that they had been there to create this entity, this sort of inhumanality within them, which they're living by. Whatever was the source, so be it. You can't feel sorry for them. They have done enough to destroy you. They have taken enough pleasure. The relationship has already been satisfied. You have let them go. The relationship ran its course. You're now, coming out of it, and you're now going to inner cauterize and inner heal within yourself. And you begin to, do the tools that we discuss here to get that balm, to get that serenity, to get that peace, to get that knowingness, and really reclaiming of your identity, really reclaiming of your own personal energy, and then furthermore embracing life, where life is now meeting you at the healed level. And so you can really identify at that heightened level versus that of a victim that was betrayed and made to believe that you were less than, which has nothing to do with reality. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.